On behalf of AmWestEntertainment.com, I'm Joe Christopek, and it's time to take a look at Night 8 of the Dubai World Cup Carnival. And as we introduce the incomparable one, Pat Cummings, Pat, 2 for the price of 1 this week as we race both Thursday and Saturday.
Yeah, 14 thoroughbred races over the 2 days, 9:45 post time Eastern for both of them. Some great action. Not the biggest of fields, but I think it makes it fairly approachable, and I still think there's some value out there on both days, so I'm looking forward to getting it going.
And we will bring you another video covering Saturday's races that will be uploaded at the conclusion of Thursday's card. These videos are brought to you by AmWestEntertainment.com. As I mentioned, great Dubai racing info there, including Pat's comprehensive PPs, stats, and charts courtesy of Trackus, Pat's detailed analysis and selections, and also live streaming video on race days, and the partner website. If you're looking to back your convictions monetarily, go to amwager.com. Fan-friendly interface, advanced wagering tools, and the best player rewards program in the business. Pat, a brief recap of Night 7. We saw some impressive performances. We've got a red-hot trainer, and I know that you also have a note on the Arabian race.
Yeah, so Cladocera was very impressive. She pulled off the Cape Verde Balanchine double. The last horse to do that went on to win the Dubai Duty Free. That was Sajha. I'm still not convinced, Joe. I'm just not blown away by her. I'm not blown away by the competition, but look, she's done nothing wrong. She was an impressive winner of the Balanchine. All the credit goes to Alain de Royer Dupree, who has not brought many horses to the UAE, so she was certainly a good one. Doug Watson. What can you say about Doug that maybe hasn't been said already, but we've certainly talked about it in the analysis and have highlighted his horses here on multiple occasions, but Layel and Stormbelt pulling off a very nice double. And look, he's the second leading trainer in the Carnival, and if you assume that Saeed bin Suror is almost always going to be the number one, then Doug is the best of the rest right now. It's great for him, an American who has been over in the UAE for a very long time. Great guy. Couldn't be happier to see Doug Watson have a lot of success. Speaking of another trainer who's been in the UAE a long time, Erwin Charpy. Doesn't have many thoroughbreds and hasn't had too much success at the Carnival in recent years, but Erwin is one of the genuine good guys in racing, absolutely loves the sport. He's a legend in the UAE, and Erwin was able to win very impressively the Bani Yas Stakes, which was the first race last week for purebred Arabians with his runner Monarch. Crushed the field, beat them by 9 lengths. A very impressive run, but was particularly happy for Erwin to get a nice win. Very deserved. Hasn't had the best string in recent years, but man, he really works hard and really tries to get a lot out of his horses. This was a good win for Erwin and the team at Green Stable, so I was really happy to see that.
We've talked about this, Pat, and there's always storylines coming out of every single Carnival card, and nights 8 and 9 will be no exception. I agree with you on Cladocera. She's very impressive against that bunch, but she's going to have to step up in class and prove she can do it against the big girls coming up in the next few weeks. Thursday, February 26th, 9:45 a.m. Eastern Time, the first post, as Pat mentioned, 7 thoroughbred races. We also race on Saturday, as mentioned earlier as well. Featured race is the 6th event, the $250,000 Zabil Mile, a Group 2 race, 1,600 meters on grass. Also the Group 3 UAE Oaks, that one on the dance card as well. And Pat, let's start with that. As local time installed as the 4-5 favorite, 1,900 meters on the dirt, and she's been untouchable so far at the Carnival.
Yeah, she won narrowly at 1,400. She won impressively at 1,600. And now, and it is the main focus of the race, the stretch out to 1,900 meters. A 2-turn race here at about 1 mile and 3/16. Small field, probably a very tactical race. And that, to me, is the main focus here. How will she go over the longer trips? By Invincible Spirit, there's maybe a little question mark in there. But given what she's done on the local surface, that to me kind of trumps pretty much everything here. She clearly loves it. I think Good Place and Charasal and Yodeling are 3 that could all likely improve. And let's go back and take a look at the 1,000 guineas. 5 of the 6 horses that are in this race ran in the 1,000 guineas. So let's start left to right. In the red cap, it's Yodeling. Then we have Charasal in the black cap. Local times in the all blue here, 3rd from the left. Runners in the all white. And then Good Place, who is last on the rail. And look, They run a very uh, they weren't going to catch local time, Joe. They just weren't going to do it. Yodeling runs on well. Charisal stays on. Charisal, to me, is interesting. She got shuffled out to the back of the pack, leaving the backstretch, almost as if, why are we going, why are we quickening at this point? It seems too soon. She, to me, seems like one who's going to want more ground. Good Place hasn't gotten away to clean starts in both of her tries, and she has been staying on. I could I could envision all four of these horses in a photo finish. I could see that. They all seem to get over the surface. They like running, and a lot of them all look like they want more ground. I think it's going to be a very competitive race. Local time, much respect, 4 to 5 morning line. She should be the favorite. I just can't make it the best of the day because I think it's a more competitive heat than it might look.
Yeah, she certainly looks like she can get over more ground based on the way she travels, the way she's been finishing, facing basically the same competition. But again, it can be the X factor. That is the distance. We'll see if it winds up being an equalizer as well. Race number 4, Pat, is the Maidan Classic, 125,000 US, up for grabs, 1,400 meters on the grass in this one. And common race. I mean, Mastermind beat the vast majority of these last time. Trips come into play, obviously. New post positions come into play, and maybe some horses with a right to move forward. Do you think Mastermind can do it again? Certainly looked good last time out.
Yeah, there haven't been many horses to make all the running going around a turn on the Maidan turf course. We've seen it going down the straight. Caspian Prince did it just last week, but there haven't been many who have been able to sustain that run. Mastermind did it. Number 7, Volatile, gave him a threat last time. Toscanelli did. In fact, let's go back and look at the Maidan Classic trial. 5 horses we'll highlight here. Mastermind is on the lead. Volatile is behind him. Then we have Toscanelli in the yellow with the yellow cap. Quarterback is behind him on the rail. Notice how all 4 of these horses are basically inside. And then out on the outside, we have Witchwood Warrior. He's 3 back on the far outside. He covered a lot of ground here. These 5 run all up in the placings. Mastermind, they just couldn't catch him. Volatile looked like he was going to run him down, Joe, and it just never happened. I think Mastermind kicked a little extra in that final 100. Well, this race is also over 1,400 meters, so it's not as if they're getting extra ground to try and run down Mastermind. He just has to run the same race. Quarterback, to me, is the interesting one. We showed you Mastermind, Volatile, Toscanelli, and Quarterback were all drawn on the rail. Now, though 3 of those 4, Mastermind, Volatile, and Toscanelli, they're all drawn outside. Quarterback is the only one who has a similar draw. He's drawn in gate number 1. He's going to save all the ground in this race, and I think the pace is going to be pretty fast. There's a couple new faces to this race, Joe. Number 9, Good Contact for Godolphin. This is a horse who absolutely wants these 1,400, 1,600 meter trips. He has shown speed and prominence in some smaller fields in the UK, but he seems suited to the shorter runs. He had run over 1,700 meters last time. It was too far for him in a small field at Epsom, but I think Good Contact is going to run a big race. And then, kind of the ultimate new shooter here, that's Tash B for Sheikh Hamdan bin Rashid Al Maktoum. David Hayes, the trainer. This is an Australian-based horse who ran in Australia as recently as, the second night of the Carnival. But he was one that was earmarked. Sheikh Hamdan wanted some decent horses that he owned from Australia to come to Dubai. The 3-year-olds from the Southern Hemisphere can take on the Northern Hemisphere, the technically younger horses. And this is one who is earmarked potentially for the UAE Derby. He's the most experienced horse in the race. There's no question about that. I just think it's maybe a bit of a trap that this horse is coming here because Sheikh Hamdan wanted a horse to come here from Australia. He's maybe filling the bill, and I don't know if he's going to be 100% fit for this spot. We'll see. It's just a hunch on my part. So I'm going to play against Tash B, who is the favorite off the back of those Australian races narrowly at 5-2. I'm going to stick with Mastermind.
It's going to be an interesting race. Like you said, a lot of common opponents and a couple of new shooters add some intrigue to the 4th event.
Joe,
yes,
let me just, I did forget, we talked about Quarterback there. I got to throw this in just to show you how fast he was. The trackest stat of the day is on Quarterback as well. He ran the fastest final 400 and 200 meters last time out. He was the only one to break 24 seconds in that final quarter. They weren't flying home. They went a pretty good lick early. He was the only one to really break that. He was more than a tenth of a second faster than Volatile over the final quarter, if they really burn up front. Quarterback is kind of the sneaky one.
Pat, on to race 5, which I found to be one of the more wide open events on the program. $120,000 handicap here. It's 7 furlongs, 1,400 meters on the dirt. 6-5 morning line favorite, a designated favorite here, and Pasolini coming in from America, where he was very competitive, obviously, in New York most recently, winner of 4 races in a row. But there are some local horses here that are in pretty good form. It's going to be interesting to see how this race meshes.
Yeah, I think it's worth taking a shot against Pasolini. He was one of the horses that I had identified to watch in the preseason in the Dubai Racing Comprehensive, but we haven't seen him until now. I find that maybe a little disconcerting. I mean, they're probably trying to get him geared up towards the World Cup meeting. He's going to carry 60 kilograms. He's off Lasix. It's worth noting the worst performance of his life, the only non-win of his life, came without Lasix. Back in 2013, he got the Lasix, and he was basically a new horse. There may have been some other changes along the way there, but he has been perfect. My problem, Joe, is that he's pure speed here. He goes to the front, and he's not the only one. That's exactly what Muanid did last time when he barely hung on, granted, to win a decent race, but I'm just not sold here. I'm not sold on Muanid being able to see it out with Pasolini going forward. Now, Boom Shakalaka, he went ahead and, he's kind of shown two different sides. He was really under a ride in the Alshindaga sprint a long way out. Frankly, quite a few horses were in there. But earlier in the campaign, over 1,400 meters, he was more forwardly placed. So I'm not quite sure where he's going to end up in the mix. Shai Shi can run with some pace. I just think Pasolini and Muad'Dib might run themselves into the ground. That being the case, I'm going back to a horse we had on the show earlier this year. In that Muad'Dib win from January 29th, I am going with number 4 Encipher. I'm making him the value play of the day. This is the second time he'll be on the Maidan Dirt. The first time was a near win when he almost ran down Muanid in United Color. I give Encipher a real chance here at a price. 12-1 morning line. I think that will hold considering the Jibbalali form that he has showed. Encipher, bit of a value play here, and really just a bit of a shot in a very contentious and an interesting 5th race.
Yeah, I would agree with you. I'm looking for a price too, and I did go to Boom Shakalaka, who I think is on the improve. He ran really well behind Muanid, and then last stop behind Ronaldo the Wizard. Fits very well in the spot, and I think you'll get that 8-1 too. So we'll talk more about that when we hit all the picks a little bit later on. Pat, race number 6 is the feature. It is the $250,000 Group 2 Zabeel Mile, and yes, safety check. If there was a vote right now, it'd be tough not to vote for him for Horse of the Carnival. He's been right there. He's won both of his starts. He's looked very impressive doing so. Dark Emerald may get a vote for most improved horse because he's really stepped up his game since shortening up. Now he goes back to a mile in this race to face the likes of Safety Check and a couple of other outsiders with a chance as well. A very intriguing addition of the Zabeel Mile here.
If either Dark Emerald or Safety Check wins, I'm in complete agreement with you. Whoever wins, if one of those two wins, would get the Carnival, the Horse of the Carnival. At least right now, right. That is how good both of them have been. Dark Emerald has been a real revelation. They ran him over 1,200 meters last time because he really had no other place to run. He couldn't get in to a longer race that they wanted. And if it wasn't for traffic trouble in his first start, he probably would have won that as well. So very impressive what Brendan Powell has been able to do with him, and a great story. This is a horse who they tried jumping with in chases in the UK and Ireland. And he was well beaten, So they really reset his career. It's been a remarkable improvement, and now they're trying a shot where they have to, in the Zabeel Mile. Look, Safety Check has been good. A winner first up in a handicap. We said it you particularly said you thought it was going to be a productive race. The rest of the field hasn't been very productive, but Safety Check sure has, and he
Hmm.
won the Alpha Heat Fort. Let's go back to the video. This also wasn't a wildly productive race. Zahi came out of this and ran pretty well. He's due to maybe come back on Saturday, I think. But when you watch this, Safety Check he just runs away from this field. There was absolutely nothing that was going to bother him, and it wasn't all that difficult either. It was a 4-length trouncing in this Group 2 over 7 furlongs, and when you saw what happened there, you said, what's the next logical spot? And it really is the Zabil Mile. So if he comes out of this well, he's really high up in the handicap, so handicaps are out. Maybe they try, and if he runs it well here, they'll wait and come in the Dubai Duty Free and give the 9 furlongs a try. But I just don't think anything else here is as good as Safety Check was in the Alpha Heat Fort. That's why I'm making Safety Check the M-Wager best bet of the day. Plenty of others will get attention in here. Outstrip getting back on grass will get the attention. Johann Strauss had a sneaky good effort in Abu Dhabi for Mike DeCock, where they gave him a first-up run there. He just missed in that event. And Darwin's getting back on grass for Mike DeCock as well. Lots of chances, but Safety Check for me still has the lot in this spot.
Yeah, I wanted to pick Dark Emerald, but Safety Check has just been so good, and we've been on him since the beginning, Pat, and Dark Emerald is going to give him a run for his money, I think, and as you mentioned, several others in here too who could really make a horse race of it, but the way Safety Check is going right now, he's just a big, strong, good-looking horse, and he travels so comfortably and so well, and he keeps getting better, so Safety Check, potential star on the rise as he looks to take down the Zabil Mile in race number 6. Pat, race number 7 is a wide open race. We're going to get to your selection on that one as we reveal all of our picks for night number 8 of the Dubai World Cup Carnival. You can find our selections, Pat and I's, and Mackenzie Kirkerhead also chipping in as well at DubaiRaceNight.com. Pat, how about the reveal?
Yeah, in the first race, it's a small group and a lot of suspects here. Rafij had some respiratory issues maybe in his last race. He is a favorite. He classes over the field, but I'm going to side with Strategical, who is a new face to the group. And there is some backdirt pedigree there, and it could be a tactical, dare I suggest, a strategical race. So I went with Strategical, first time on the dirt. Then in the local race, field of 15, biggest field of the day, I actually went with Busker, our old man Busker. I think there's going to be a lot of speed in this race. He's getting a massive class drop. They take the blinkers off. Busker, for me, on the class drop, granted a top weight, and I think you'll get a little bit of value about him because we have some familiar winners with one-man band, Dubai Iconic, Year of Glory, Mudaram. All of them have won multiple races, or at least one race at the Carnival this year. So I went there to Busker and took a shot. And then in the last race of the day, I went with Belgian Bill. Talked about on the website how in that last race where Thair and Burling ran 1-2, it was shocking that no one else was able to close into the pace. The only one who did was Belgian Bill. I think there's going to be more pace in this race. I think Belgian Bill comes and picks it up. He was the one that really impressed me out of that Thair Burling race, and maybe a small price, 5-1 is what I have. He might float from there.
All right, let me bang through these selections. I did go with Rafij in race number 1. Reluctantly, like you said, Pat, class and the chalk in this field. One-man band for me in race number 2, improving, speedy, and very game. Should be forwardly placed throughout. Once again, local time just looks too tough for these. Obviously, the distant question, I think she will answer it authoritatively once again. Race 4, I'll go to Volatile. Lukewarm selection here to maybe turn the tables on Mastermind. Race 5, Boom Shakalaka will be a good price at 8-1 on the morning line. Fits well with these. Safety Check, slight edge for me over Dark Emerald, and a race that I'm really looking forward to seeing, the Zabil Mile, and race number 7, Start Right. Good effort in what may have been a needed race behind a solid winner last out. Another wide open race is the 7th, and he too is going to be a price 8-1 on the morning line. So Start Right maybe will end things right for me and my selections on night 8 of the Carnival. And Pat, your office looks a little bit drafty. Did you feel that breeze that just went by? There's a dirty wind blowing. There's a storm front coming in. There's an SOS on the seas tonight. Not only is Hurricane Joe in the race, but we have a new leader, Mr. Cummings, in the M-Wager Bankroll Challenge.
I offer my sincerest respects to you, Joe, and the fact that you have at least turned a 90-cent profit for the Carnival. now at over $1,000. I'm at $979.70. So I need to get just a little bit more. You've already broken it with a big, big night. Uh, Many congratulations.
Well, thank you. Let's take a look at Pat's numbers. As he mentioned, he's almost showing a $300 profit to this point at the Carnival, and had some solid winning nights over the course of it. Let's see what your wagers are this week, Pat.
So I'm playing pick threes that start with the UAE Oaks, and I am going to take a $5 play rather. It's singles local time, and then in the Maidon Classic we'll use Good Contact and Mastermind, and then in the fifth race using Boom Shakalaka, Encipher, and Muad'Dib. Then a $3 play, and the only horses we replace are in the Maidon Classic with Quarterback, Volatile, and Toscanelli. So tossing Tash B altogether. Then in the fifth race, I'm going to play trifectas. And look, I'm going back to my man Encipher. He's the value play. It's kind of a weirdly competitive race, depending on how the speed goes. If Encipher runs first or second, I win. That's the way I look at it. And then we're guaranteed profitability for the Carnival, plus some if he wins in that group. So 4 all, 4 all, and then just back it up with the last dollar there in case he runs third. So that's me, Joe. Where are you at?
Well, Pat, I think, your logic with local time and singling is how I hit big last week. I singled Sarah and was happy enough to get Stormbelt and Dark Emerald on both sides, hitting a $5 pick three, which returned $641. No, you cannot make up ground betting $30 to win on a 7-5 morning line shot, to quote
But
you.
you can take the lead. You can indeed, Joe.
That was just a $42 consolation prize after hitting that pick three. So at the Carnival, Pat, we've seen the trifecta payoffs. We've seen the pick three payoffs. You don't need to win very often in order to stay ahead during the course of the Carnival, and both of us are proving that so far this meet. So let's take a look at my selections as far as wagers go. Race number 5, win and place bet on Boom Shakalaka. $75 in my bankroll this week, going to a pick three in which I use 5 horses in race number 5. In race number 6, we're going to go safety check. We're going to go Dark Emerald, and we're going to throw that wild card in there, Johann Strauss, at 15-1 in the morning line. Only has the one win, a maiden breaker, but obviously Mike DeCock thinks this horse has a future, placing him in this race this early in the career, and using 5 more horses, including some long shots, in the 7th race. $75 there, hoping for a couple prices on either side of one of the favorites in the middle, or a long shot potentially, and then the rest of the bankroll, the last $10 goes win and place on Start Right at 8-1 in race number 7. Pat, you got something to say, I can tell.
It's just been fun, Joe. This has been a great time.
Yeah.
And the fact that we're just $21 apart right now, I find quite amusing after the heck I was giving you last week. So lots of fun. The Carnival's been great. A lot of good performances. I think the racing's been really fun on the dirt. It's been very, very engaging. So looking forward to another one, and we'll see you for Saturday's video.
That's right. So once again, we do race Thursday and Saturday this week. At the conclusion of Thursday's races, we will have the video for Saturday available, so lots of time to take a look at that as we get double the pleasure, double the fun at the Dubai World Cup Carnival. You can follow Pat and I on Twitter. Pat is at Dubai Race Night and Trackus Racing. I'm at Joey Decay Racing. Again, Thursday, first post will be 9:45 Eastern Time, and we'll join you again and take a look at Saturday's races not too far down the road. For the incomparable one, Pat Cummings, I'm Joe Christopher. Enjoy the Carnival.